What is happening, guys? Martin is back again. We're going to get into regards to this particular still subject of Enzo Fernández. I'm going to give my thoughts on it. You leave your comments down below. Don't forget to buy me a coffee if you like the content. And again, guys, give the video a thumbs up and a like. Peace. What's happening, guys? Let's get into it in regards to as a quick recap to this particular story. I've done a previous video on this. I'll leave the link there for you to see it. So, I mean, coming from winning the Copa America, you're with your team, you're with the Argentinian team, and you decide on a bus, and for some reason, I don't know why, he decided on a bus, let's film myself. And obviously, he's in that moment, he's in that feeling of jubilation. They just won the cup, and they're singing this racist chant, as we know, specifically highlighting the French players or French players from African descent, let's say, who are playing for the French national team. And, you know, a number of his Chelsea teammates, because he does play in the UK, a number of his Chelsea teammates have unfollowed him and so forth and raised concerns about what he did. His statement, and I'm just going to get this up now quickly without getting into anything, but ultimately the song itself has highly offensive language, and ultimately, you know, it's quite clear what they're saying. So his statement, again, you know, some real bullshit in all honesty, because it's coming from whichever PR person he has. It's not necessarily him as an individual. He goes, I stand against discrimination in all forms and apologize for getting caught up in the euphoria of our Copa America celebrations. In that video, that moment, these words do not reflect my beliefs or my character. Well, let's talk about that, because, you know, realistically, that's bullshit. And I'm not being funny, but to me, this guy reminds me of, he looks like that reggaeton singer. What's his name? Anuel. You know, and he's doing his brrr. He's one of those guys. It looks like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So in regards to his statement that he just made, I mean, let's be honest. If you're feeling so comfortable that you can chant and cheer and behave in that particular way, you know, it's not just, and again, Darren Bent talked about it as well on like TalkSport. He was saying the same thing. It's not exactly like just a scenario of, I just said a statement and it was, you know, uncalled for. There's a relative who came around and they spoke in a particular way. I'm just being honest with you guys. I've lived in Spain. I've seen what it's like and I've seen what they've said. I lived in Madrid as well, and I heard the language. Even people would speak to me without realizing that I'd understand Spanish and respond back to them, or they speak to me in a particular way and use terminology. I'm not going to repeat it on here, but use certain terminology which is quite clearly derogatory. It's quite clearly discriminatory, but I've noticed is the way the language goes. And again, if you speak Spanish, you can let me know, leave your thoughts below. But I noticed the way the language goes. It's kind of a language which is not necessarily, how could I say, I would say racially diverse. Whereas in the English language, obviously, you can use different type of way of saying certain things. The Spanish is still kind of, again, it's Latin based. Some of the language and terminology being used, it doesn't equate necessarily to an English comparison, but we know ultimately what's being said. And I think at this point, there's no excuse. I can't see how he can just turn around and say, well, you know, it wasn't, it doesn't reflect his values. But then that being said, he's gone to his club now. So he's gone to his club, River Plate. And again, he's come out to, you know, say, well, I've won the Copa America and everything else like that. And then, his former club at least. And then, lo and behold, there's a chant again. And he's greeted by the same chant. So that clearly goes to show that this is part and parcel of the culture, especially in Argentina. And what seems to be so interesting or surprising again to me is that, again, I mean, let's look about Messi. What's Messi got to say? It seems like Messi don't give a damn, really. Messi's not said anything, you know, and of all people, Messi in Barcelona with all the sort of different types of, cultures and the influences that Barcelona has and the players that have come through that particular team, it just seems to me just a shame. Even Messi's not necessarily, condemning it and everything else, because he's probably part and parcel of it. You know, these guys don't really care. They're in their world, they're in their bubble, and ultimately that's it. But for me, I think realistically what will probably happen, he's not going to go anywhere. The Chelsea sort of management, everything else, will have to speak to the players and get their position on it. And ultimately what's going to happen next is that they'll just go through some type of sort of, program to re-educate or something along, some crap along those lines. But I think what could happen if a hand is sort of forced could be that he gets to the point of being pushed out because of, let's say, he doesn't get support from his teammates. He goes on the pitch and nobody wants to pass him the ball. Even when it comes to things like just like lineups and so forth, no one wants to shake his hand. You know, his own teammates in training will try and ignore him. His stuff goes missing. You know, it can start escalating. And I think at some point someone have to make a decision to say, you know what, this is just not worth the hassle anymore. Let's move him on. Where he would go, I don't know. But that being said, once he's done what he's done, and he put himself like a fool, he put himself on the camera to do that, I really don't know where he's going to go. But I think there's quite a few steps to happen on this one. We're going to keep an eye on it, because again, I just think there's no place for this anymore in this day and age as well, especially when you're playing an international game. You've got players who, again, you're playing in Latin America and everything else like that, from all over the world, let's be honest. And again, there are black people in these countries. So if you're going to behave that way and just see it one particular way and not like it's a fun and sort of a joke, and not even to the point of, you know, as I say, it's not a one-off statement. It's an actual song. It's quite clear what's going on there. So those are my thoughts, guys. Leave your comments down below. Very disappointed, and very disappointed in Messi as well, because at this point in time, it kind of is what it is. You know, these guys don't really give a damn. They just hope it'll probably just move on and go from there. So leave your comments down below, guys. See you in the next video, and yeah, don't forget to buy me a coffee. Description in the leave it in the description for you. Peace.